Hey Wargamers, one of the things I like to do when I travel is to check out local game stores, see what kind of product they have, what type of community is there, and just get a feel for what gaming is like in that town. And so that's what I did recently when I went to Bozeman, Montana with my family. I went to Rook's Comics and Games, and I've been to Rook's before, I've been to Bozeman before, and I had checked out that store and I really liked it. So when I went this time, I wanted to kind of do a video or something, and if I was a better planner or maybe a better packer or something like that, I would have made room in my car for my filming equipment, but that didn't happen. So instead I was using my barely functional old iPhone 5. And yeah, that's what I used to film with. So if you're a longtime viewer of the channel, you have seen videos that have been produced on this phone, but not the stuff that I'm using currently. So yeah, so I went into Rook's and I was going to do just kind of a basic overview video, but I got talking with Sarah, one of the owners of Rook's, and so we decided to do a live stream type of event. And of course, because I'm using my phone in the mountains, there was some technical difficulties with that, and I had warned Sarah of that ahead of time. So there's some amateurish video going on there, but I think it still gives you a sense of what Rook's is about. So if you caught that live stream, great. This is the same video, just kind of cleaned up a little bit more. But if you didn't catch that live stream that we did from Rook's, here it is.
Okay,
all right.
opposite live. Okay, here we go.
All right. Hey Wargamers, I'm here in Bozeman, Montana at Rook's Games and More. And one of the owners, Sarah, has been nice enough to chat with me for a few minutes here about what's going on in Bozeman. So, Sarah, do you want to kind of give us an overview of what Rook's is about?
Yeah, so Rook's Games and More, we are a small local business. We've been here for 12 years. We just had our 12-year anniversary, and we basically just support hobbies in Bozeman. And so we've got miniatures, board games, we do tons of Magic tournaments, pretty much anything that you would want to do in the hobby space, we want to support you doing that.
Awesome. And so one of the things that we talked a little bit about this ahead of time, but one of the things I really like is this store is incredibly clean, incredibly bright, really good space management. You don't feel crowded at all. Like, how do you guys use your different spaces, and how many different types of events do you have going on at one time usually?
We have a lot of events. So our very first space was only 800 square feet, and so we learned how to utilize that space very efficiently. We had lots of things on wheels. We moved to about 1,000 square feet, and we were still running into trouble where we wanted to be hosting a 40K tournament and Magic tournament at the same time. So when we had the opportunity to move into this space, we decided to make dedicated areas for each type of event. So we have the downstairs that has dedicated miniatures tables, so they're the right size, they can move around like they need to, have terrain on them. But then upstairs, we've got room for Magic, so they're also, again, the right size tables, they're 30 inches, all that good stuff. And then another space that's made for board gaming. So everybody sort of has their own area that really makes them feel comfortable.
Awesome. And I guess we're standing in amongst the product here, but I see like all your different products have labels saying this is the type of game it is, and this is like the features of that type of game that might appeal to people. Do you get a lot of people coming in and just totally no idea what they're looking for and using that, or like?
I think that's a great thing about this time in hobby gaming is that we're seeing so many new people coming in. So from the board game side, we've just seen a massive explosion in people learning about the hobby and getting into it for the first time. Role playing, we're seeing with the actual play videos like Critical Hit and Hyper RPG, those are really bringing a lot of brand new people into the industry. And even with miniatures, like GW has just been knocking it out of the park lately. They've made some really good stuff that really brings people in and makes it more accessible. So between all those different groups of companies just doing a really great job of bringing people into the industry, we need to do our part as a local store too. So when they get here, we need to help facilitate that to get them to the right types of games and give them a sense of security and safety as they navigate that.
And so I guess on that note, what types of changes have you seen in the past year, 2 years in
Warhammer 40K, Age of Sigmar, that sort of thing? Are you seeing increases, decreases? What type of participation are you seeing?
We're seeing huge increases. I'm just so happy that we're getting everything back. Like when we started our store, Warhammer was huge for us, and we had enormous tournaments. We came in right after Rogue Trader really was starting to die down, but we still had Rogue Trader type tournaments that we put together ourselves, and they were massive. And then for a while there, like there were other companies who were taking some of that space, and GW decreased as far as its percentage that we were seeing. But now we've just seen a resounding exuberance for it again, and we're just really happy. And I think one thing that they did do right is make it more accessible to new players.
Yeah, like what's going, if people are in the Bozeman area or the greater Montana area, what would you recommend for them to come in? Should they come in any day to play 40K? Any minute? You know, like what? What should people expect?
So if you want to come in and play 40K, definitely come in on Saturdays. That's the time when the most people are able to be here, mostly because it's a game that does take a little bit longer to play, and so when you're not at work, you come in and play 40K. So come in pretty much anytime on Saturday and you'll get to play a game. But we have events going on all the time. You can check our calendar online at rooksgamesandmore.com if you want to find out more.
Awesome. And like we're here on a Friday afternoon, and there's, I don't know, well, at least a dozen folks just hanging out playing various games. So there are plenty of people around to pick up games, whether it's 40K or Magic or anything else. So really a great space, and a lot of people here. Solid community building at Rook's Games and More. So great. Well, thanks for chatting with me.
Yeah, thank you. It's been fun.
Yeah. Is there anything you want to say before we go?
Come to Montana. It's amazing.
It's amazing. It's beautiful, and great game stores too. So thanks everybody, and happy Wargaming.
Hey everyone, this video was made possible by my supporters over on Patreon. If you also enjoyed this video, consider joining our community over there. Special thanks to Max Harrison, NoExcusesPanda, Nick Steele, TauOswell, Paul Lueders, Jared Egeler, Brian Mann, Jake Johnson, Eric Jackson, Youhei Penguin, Peter Benjamin Parker, RP, Christian Gustavsen, Andy M. Young, Julian Peck, Giovanni DiMaggio, and Cristofer Sarale.